Okay, so picture this. You're about to give a presentation, but instead of that familiar wave of nausea, you're actually excited.
Yeah.
You got this.
You're red?
This deep dive is all about giving you the tools to not just survive public speaking, but to absolutely own it.
Own it.
And for this deep dive, you sent us a transcript.
Yeah.
That's like a shot of espresso for your confidence.
Love it.
And a 20-page guide that's packed with practical strategies.
Nice.
Let's dive in.
So what's interesting to me is how both of these sources emphasize similar core principles.
Okay.
Despite their different for the same destination, but they're taking different routes to get there.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
One thing that they both tackle head on is the fear factor.
Absolutely.
I mean, let's be real. Public speaking can be terrifying.
For sure.
But the transcript actually uses this great analogy about how our fear is kind of primal. Like back when we were cave dwellers.
Remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about how messing up a speech to the tribe could mean missing out on the mammoth barbecue.
Missing out on dinner.
Right.
Big mistake.
It's a clever way to show how that fear is wired into us.
Totally.
But both sources make this great point.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to eliminate fear entirely.
Right.
Which is probably impossible. We need to learn to manage it.
Yeah, absolutely. And they offer some really practical ways to do that.
Okay.
The guide actually suggests reframing that nervous energy as excitement.
Okay.
It's like channeling that adrenaline into something positive.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I remember reading in the guide about how acknowledging your fear can actually be a sign that you care.
Oh, yeah.
About your message and your audience.
Totally. It means you're taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the transcript has some great tips from Sheri.
Yeah.
Who talks about using deep breathing and visualization techniques to calm those nerves before a presentation.
For sure.
I've tried some of those techniques myself.
Yeah.
Especially the deep breathing exercises.
Yeah.
They really do help to center yourself and get grounded.
Absolutely. They can really make a difference.
Yeah. All right. So once we've tackled the fear monster, both sources move on to another crucial element.
Right.
Clarity.
Clarity is king.
Yes.
Yes.
They both emphasize the importance of clear articulation projection and using your voice strategically.
Absolutely. It's not just about speaking slowly.
Right.
It's about making sure your words land with impact.
Sheri even admitted in the podcast that she tends to talk super fast when she's nervous.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
It's something I definitely struggle with, too.
It's a common one.
Yeah.
For sure.
The guide dives into some specific techniques for improving vocal clarity.
Okay.
Like varying your pitch and volume to keep the audience engaged.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's also this hilarious anecdote in the transcript.
Oh, yeah.
Where Terry talks about completely flubbing a presentation on innovative cloud solutions. Apparently, he ended up inventing some new tech jargon on the spot.
That's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's a good reminder that even experienced speakers make mistakes.
Absolutely. Everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
It's all about how you recover.
Right.
Right.
The key is to recover gracefully and keep going.
Exactly.
Okay, moving on to something I find super interesting.
Okay.
Storytelling.
Storytelling.
Both Terry and the guide are huge advocates for incorporating stories into presentations.
Love it. Yeah. They're big believers in the power of story.
The guide actually contrasts a bland statement. Our product increases efficiency.
Right.
With a story about Sarah and the spreadsheets.
Much more interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Which one do you think is more memorable?
Oh, Sarah and the spreadsheets, for sure.
Definitely is a story about Sarah.
Yeah.
It's relatable. It creates an image in your mind. Right. And it makes you want to hear more.
Absolutely. And the guide explains that stories add an emotional layer.
Okay.
That helps the message stick.
Right.
It's about connecting with the audience.
Yeah.
On a human level.
All right. So we've got our nerves under control.
Okay.
Our message is crystal clear. And we're weaving in captivating stories.
That's good.
What's next?
What's next?
Visuals.
Visuals. Oh, that's a good one.
Both sources have some great advice on how to use visuals effectively.
Okay.
Without overwhelming your audience.
Yeah, it's easy to go overboard with visuals.
Right.
Right.
The transcript has Sheri warning against text-heavy slides. She makes a great point that if your slides are packed with information, people will just end up reading instead of listening to you.
Yeah, and nobody wants to read a novel on a slide.
Right.
While you're talking.
Exactly.
Right?
I love the analogy the guide uses.
Oh, yeah. Tell me about it.
Slides should be signposts that guide the audience through your presentation.
I like that analogy. Right.
Not distract them with a barrage of text and bullet points.
Exactly. Keep it simple. Keep it visual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a fantastic way to think about it. Simple, clear visuals that support your message, not overshadow it.
Absolutely.
Right? Think high-quality images, charts and graphs that enhance your points, not compete with them.
Exactly.
And finally, both sources talk about the importance of engaging your audience.
Yeah.
Even in formal settings.
It's always important to keep them involved.
Terry and Sheri had some great tips on how to do that in the podcast.
Oh, yeah. What did they say?
I remember Terry talking about how he likes to use rhetorical questions.
Oh, yeah.
Even in formal presentations.
Right.
Just to get people thinking and participating.
To get those brains working.
Right.
Yeah.
It's about breaking down that fourth wall and creating a sense of connection with the audience.
Right. Make them feel like they're part of the conversation.
Exactly.
Not just passive listeners.
So we've covered a lot of ground.
We have.
Managing nerves, crafting clear messages,
right.
the power of storytelling, and creating engaging visuals.
It's a good start.
But the 20-page guide goes even deeper.
Oh, wow.
Exploring topics like handling technical difficulties, mastering Q&A sessions,
right.
and even developing your own personal style as a speaker.
Sounds like we have a lot more to uncover.
That's right. Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll explore even more strategies
Can't wait.
for taking your public speaking skills to the next level.
Looking forward to it. Welcome back to our deep dive into conquering public speaking.
We're building on that foundation of managing fear and crafting clear messages.
Right.
And now we're getting into some seriously ninja-level techniques.
Yeah, the kind of stuff that separates those who simply present from those who truly captivate an audience.
And we're lucky enough to have 2 amazing sources guiding us.
Yeah.
A podcast transcript that's full of real-world wisdom, and a 20-page guide that's like a masterclass in public speaking strategy.
One thing both sources hit on is the importance of adapting to your audience.
Right.
It's not one-size-fits-all communication.
The guide uses this great analogy of speaking different languages.
I like that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't talk to your grandma the same way.
Right.
You'd chat with your best friend.
Exactly. It stresses the importance of research, especially when presenting to diverse groups or international audiences.
Right. Different cultures have different expectations for what's appropriate.
Cultural norms can make a huge difference in how your message lands.
Absolutely.
In the podcast, Sheri even talks about adjusting to different settings. A formal conference versus a casual team, meeting those call for totally different vibes.
For sure. You got to read the room.
Right.
Right?
It's about being a chameleon.
I love that.
Yeah.
Blending in with your surroundings and speaking the language of your audience.
And let's not forget about virtual presentations.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Right.
Virtual presentations are becoming more and more common.
The guide points out that online platforms bring a whole new set of challenges and opportunities.
Absolutely. You're not in the same room as your audience.
Right.
So you got to think about things differently.
You're absolutely right. Engaging visuals and clear instructions become even more crucial. When you're presenting through a screen, you don't have that in-person connection to fall back on.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've analyzed our audience.
Okay.
We've tailored our message. Now let's talk about a communication superpower that often gets overlooked.
Oh, I like it. Tell me more.
Body language.
Body language. That's a good one.
The guide dedicates a whole section to this, highlighting how nonverbal cues, like posture gestures and facial expressions, can speak volumes.
Yeah, they say actions speak louder than words.
I remember Terry in the podcast joking about how his left eyebrow has a life of its own during presentation.
Oh, God, expressive eyebrow.
It's a funny image. But he and Sheri both emphasize the importance of appearing confident and composed, even if you're battling nerves on the inside.
Yeah, you got to fake it till you make it.
Right. Got that. The guide talks about the power of purposeful movement, too.
Yeah.
A step forward to emphasize a point. A hand gesture to illustrate an idea.
Right.
It's about using your body to amplify your message, to create a visual rhythm that keeps the audience engaged.
I like that.
And then there's eye contact.
Oh, yeah. Eye contact is so important.
Right. Such a powerful tool for connection.
Yeah.
But it can be tricky to get right.
It can be.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to stare people down.
Right.
Right?
The guide actually cautions against that intense stare into their souls.
Yeah.
Kind of eye contact.
Nobody wants that.
Right.
Wait.
You don't want to make anyone uncomfortable.
No.
It's about finding that sweet spot, making those brief, genuine connections with individual audience members without creeping them out.
Right, just a little glance to acknowledge them and then move on.
Think of it like sprinkling those eye contact moments throughout your presentation.
I like that.
Yeah.
Like you're connecting with each person in the room.
All right, so we've nailed our body language.
Okay.
We're engaging with our audience. Our message is tailored. Now it's time for the grand finale.
Ooh, the grand finale. I like it.
Conclusion.
The conclusion. It's all been leading up to this.
The transcript and the guide both stress how important it is to leave a lasting impression.
Absolutely.
Right.
You want your audience to walk away thinking, wow,
Yeah.
that was a great presentation.
Your conclusion isn't just an ending. It's an opportunity to cement your key takeaways and inspire action.
Right. You want them to do something with the information you've given them.
I love how the podcast calls it wrapping everything up with a nice bow.
That's a cute way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about giving your audience a clear sense of closure while leaving them feeling energized and inspired.
Right. You want them to feel motivated and ready to take action.
The guide actually suggests incorporating a call to action.
Oh, yeah. A call to action. That's a good one.
Right.
Tell them exactly what you want them to do.
A specific step the audience can take after your presentation.
Makes sense.
If you want them to implement a strategy, give them clear, actionable steps.
Right. Don't leave them hanging.
It's about turning inspiration into action, giving them a roadmap to follow.
Love it.
And don't underestimate the power of emotion in your conclusion.
Emotion is a powerful motivator.
Right. The guide talks about appealing to both the head and the heart, connecting your message to broader implications.
Yeah, make it meaningful. Make it relevant to their lives.
For example, if you're presenting on a new eco-friendly product,
Okay.
you could highlight not only its practical benefits, but also its positive impact on the environment.
That's a good example.
It's about showing that your message has real-world significance.
Absolutely.
And a memorable conclusion. Could involve a powerful anecdote,
Okay.
a thought-provoking question, or even a quote that resonates with the audience.
Yeah, something that sticks with them.
Right.
Long after the presentation is over.
It's about creating that aha moment that makes your presentation unforgettable.
I love that.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, there's more.
In the final part of our deep dive, we'll uncover even more secrets
Can't wait.
to public speaking mastery. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the art of public speaking.
We've covered so much good stuff already.
We have from managing those pre-presentation jitters to crafting a message that truly resonates.
It's all about connection, right?
Right.
Connecting with your audience.
We've explored the power of storytelling,
One of my favorite tools.
the importance of adapting to your audience,
Crucial.
and the magic of body language.
Our nonverbal cues speak volumes.
And now we're going to delve into those final essential elements
Okay, bring it on.
that can elevate your public speaking from good to truly great.
I'm ready to level up.
One thing that both our sources, the podcast transcript and the 20-page guide, emphasize is the importance of practice.
Oh, absolutely. You don't become a world-class athlete
Right.
without putting in the hours.
Right.
And public speaking is no different.
They both stress that becoming a confident and compelling speaker
Yeah.
doesn't happen overnight.
It's a journey.
Right.
It's a process.
It's about honing your skills through consistent effort.
Yeah.
And a willingness to learn and grow.
Growth mindset all the way.
Terry, in the podcast, actually suggests recording yourself
Oh, yeah.
and watching it back.
It can be painful,
Right.
but it's so valuable.
I know it could be a little cringy,
Yeah.
but he swears it's one of the best ways to identify
Ah.
those little habits or mannerisms that might be holding you back.
Totally. You might not even realize you're doing them until you see yourself on video.
It's like holding a mirror up to your presentation style. You might notice things you weren't aware of.
Like saying, too much. Right.
Or like you were saying.
Like speaking too quickly or relying too heavily on your notes.
Exactly.
Sheri, the other podcast host, adds that even seasoned speakers make mistakes.
Oh, for sure.
She even shared a funny story about how her left eyebrow
I love that story.
sometimes has a mind of its own during presentations.
And it happens to the best of us.
It's a good reminder that we're all human. And those little imperfections can actually make us more relatable and engaging.
It's what makes us unique.
Right.
Authenticity is key.
The guide also emphasizes the importance of rehearsing in front of a live audience.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Friends, family, colleagues, anyone who can provide honest and constructive feedback.
It's so helpful to get an outside perspective.
They might pick up on things you miss, like whether your pacing is effective or if your jokes are landing.
Exactly. And they can give you tips on how to improve.
And speaking of things going wrong, both sources acknowledge that even with the best preparation, unexpected things can happen. Oh, yeah, Murphy's Law, right?
During a presentation.
Anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Like the dreaded technical meltdown.
Oh, the tech meltdown.
Imagine your laptop crashing mid-presentation.
Oh, that's everyone's worst nightmare.
A nightmare scenario for many speakers.
Yeah.
But the guide offers some excellent advice.
Okay.
For handling those tech glitches with grace.
Grace under pressure.
Yes.
I like it.
They suggest having backups, printed notes, a USB drive with your presentation, even an online copy of your slides.
Be prepared.
Just in case.
Yeah, it's better to be safe than sorry.
Right.
Especially when it comes to technology.
And if technology does fail, they advise staying calm and addressing the situation with humor.
Yeah, make a joke out of it.
Remember that line about the laptop taking a coffee break?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
It's a great example of how to diffuse a potentially stressful situation.
Keep it light.
And show your audience that you're adaptable and resilient.
Exactly. It's all about rolling with the punches.
Now let's talk about another aspect of public speaking that can be challenging.
Okay.
The Q&A session.
The Q&As.
For many people, the thought of fielding questions from the audience can be pretty intimidating.
It can be nerve-wracking.
Right.
Especially if you're not sure what they're going to ask.
But the guide provides a wealth of tips for navigating Q&A sessions with confidence.
Okay, give me the tips.
They suggest listening attentively to each question, paraphrasing it for clarity, and if you don't know the answer, don't be afraid to admit it.
Honesty is the best policy.
Right. And offer to follow up later.
Absolutely. You don't have to have all the answers on the spot.
Right.
Nobody expects you to be a walking encyclopedia.
It's about showing respect for your audience's questions and demonstrating that you're genuinely engaged in the conversation.
Right. You're there to have a dialogue with them.
Both sources also emphasize the importance of seeking feedback.
Oh, yeah. Feedback is a gift.
After every presentation.
Absolutely.
Even if it went well.
Always room for improvement.
Ask trusted colleagues, mentors, or even audience members what resonated with them and what areas could be improved.
It's how we learn and grow.
It's about viewing each presentation as a learning opportunity.
I love that.
That's how you grow and evolve as a speaker.
Continuous improvement.
And remember, finding your personal style is a journey, not a destination. There's no one right way to do it.
Right.
It's about finding what works for you.
Experiment with different approaches. See what feels authentic to you. And most importantly, have fun with it.
Yes, public speaking should be enjoyable.
Both the podcast and the guide highlight that public speaking is ultimately about connecting with people.
It all comes back to connection.
Sharing your ideas and inspiring action.
Making a difference.
When you approach it with that mindset, those nerves transform into excitement and passion.
Right.
And that's when the magic truly happens.
That's when the sparks fly. As we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one key takeaway that stands out to you?
For me, it's the reminder that public speaking is a skill that anyone can develop and improve with practice, feedback, and a willingness to embrace the journey.
It's not about becoming a flawless orator overnight, but about finding your voice and using it to make a difference in the world.
Beautifully said.
And remember, you don't have to be perfect to be a powerful and effective speaker.
Absolutely.
Believe in your message, trust in your preparation, and let your passion shine through. Thanks for being a listener. Click the card above to explore our playlist and find more episodes. And hey, if you really appreciate our work and want to help us keep creating awesome content, you can find us on Patreon. That's patreon.com/McAllister. Or if you just want to buy us a coffee, head over to buymecoffee.com/Jamie McAllister. All content, copyright Jamie McAllister.